Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to your all signs reading. Joining me today is my colleague and good friend, Chris Reck from Minnow Pond. Hey, Chris.
Hey Devin, how are you?
Great to have you here. If you're new to my channel, I'm Devin Dewar. I'm an angel intuitive and spiritual teacher, and I'm always honored to have guests on the show. Chris has been coming regularly, I guess, since October. We've done a lot of different shows here on and we did a fantastic one over on your channel, Minnow Pond Tarot, at the first week of March, addressing these eclipses. Okay, so we had the one a couple weeks ago, or I guess it was a little over. It'll be 2 weeks ago tomorrow. And then we have the one this Saturday that's going to be super, super powerful. So we're going to talk about some of these energies a little bit first, but the idea with this particular reading is for you to listen to all 12 signs, see what resonates. You have all 12 signs in your chart. So if you know your sun, moon, and rising, you can pay a little bit more attention to those signs if you want to. But remember that if anything catches your attention, you get an angel bump or it just feels like it's for you, write it down in your journal, make a note of it, let us know in the comments, because there's some powerful information coming through. But first I wanted to, and we will do a bonus reading at the end, right, Chris? I forgot to ask you.
That's right.
Do the collective reading at the end. So stay tuned for that too. But I'm just feeling like this really fiery energy coming through. And so I wanted to first talk to you a little bit, Chris, about the energy we have with, first of all, Saturday is going to be the partial solar eclipse. So it's actually a new moon in Aries happening. How did the last eclipse treat you, Chris?
Yeah, weird. I would call it weird because I felt weird like the first 2 weeks of the month. I felt weird. That's the best way I could describe it.
Right.
I felt off. I felt lost. Like I was like kind of in a weird lost place. And I said to other people as well, it reminded me of like years ago. I used to get in like these weird moods. I'll just tell you what I felt. I used to get in these weird moods where like I would be like not depressed or anything like that, but I would just be like down on myself, thinking like, oh, I can't get things to work, or like nothing goes my way, like those types of thoughts. And like the first 2 weeks of the month were like that. I haven't had that problem since probably, I would say 2012 was like kind of the end of that for me. Or actually it must have been 2016 or 2015 because I started this channel then. So it was like right when I started this channel is when I pulled my head out of my butt from getting into those moods, right?
Right.
And so like, but it reminded me of that time when that happened.
That's really interesting because we were at the end of Pisces season too for those first 2 weeks. So did you feel a shift then when the sun went into Aries, or was it after the eclipse, like right after it?
It was like maybe 2 days before the eclipse, actually. Like I don't think I ever feel eclipses like on the day, right? I always feel them like before. So it was probably like 2 days before I snapped out of it. So yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, because we had so much in Pisces at that point, and then I felt it too a couple of days before, and I've actually even felt this eclipse. I started feeling it Sunday. Actually Saturday, Sunday over the weekend. So I thought it was interesting because I'm like you. I feel like, knowing it was coming, I was starting to see things happen. And I think it's a great heads up to just be paying attention to those things. You can't really control what's going to happen, but you definitely can't control what's going to happen. But you can at least prepare yourself, or at least know it's not just you when things are really wonky like this,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I was definitely feeling all that watery energy too. And what's interesting is at the time we're recording these messages, Venus is retrograde in Aries, but tomorrow it will be going back into Pisces. So we'll be revisiting that energy before we even get to this eclipse, which is happening Saturday, March 29th here in the Northern Hemisphere at 5:57 a.m. Central. And it's happening at 9 degrees Aries. Yeah. So 9 degrees Aries, this is a powerful, powerful degree. But also we mentioned this, I believe, on one of our recent lives together too. Mercury went retrograde at 9 degrees and Venus at 10. So really right around this same spot where this eclipse is happening, which means whatever energy we were feeling at that point, we're going to be revisiting. And it also feels like something with this eclipse we might not see the result of it until Mercury and Venus have gotten back to that degree. Does that feel right to you?
Yeah, and here's another weird thing. Don't forget this. I don't want to forget this. Isn't it Mercury or Venus goes back to 27 as well, which is
Oh,
9?
that's
Or is it?
right. Where the
Yeah,
last
right.
eclipse was. Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to say
So
it's 27. I don't have my notes in
yeah,
front of
which
me,
is
but it's real
also
close.
9. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's weird. I had this like thought today. I don't remember who I was reading for, but I was like, it's almost like I saw the outline of a puzzle. Like, how some people who do puzzles, they start with the edge pieces
I do
first.
that.
And I was saying something about how it's like I think that's where we're at. Like we have like the edge
Mm.
pieces, but maybe between now and like the next set of eclipses or like September-ish, we're going to be filling in all those little gaps, right?
That is such a good analogy. I love that. Yeah, and you won't be able to see the big picture for quite a while, but you have
Yeah.
an idea. Yeah, I really like that because that's the other thing too is with Venus moving back into Pisces tomorrow, that's going to be a conjunction with Neptune right before
Mm.
Neptune moves into
Moves into
Aries.
Aries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're going to be, I think, feeling all this watery energy leading into this eclipse, and then like I said, with the eclipse, right after that, the next day, Neptune moves into Aries. So I kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit because, first of all, none of us in this lifetime have experienced Neptune in
Right.
Aries. The last time it happened was during the Civil War era, 1861 to 1875. And that was a big thing for our nation. If you start seeing things that are going on around the world and on the worldwide stage, you're
Hmm.
seeing these similar things. That's actually when we bought Alaska from Russia in that time.
Wow.
There's talks of purchasing things, right? Like we're hearing these
Hmm.
things. We had the Reconstruction era. It's really, really fascinating the things that were going on during the last Neptune in Aries. But another kind of fun one to think about, if you want to, is later in, I guess it's in May. I have my notes right here. Yeah, May 24th, Saturn moves into Aries. So more Aries energy. And the last time that was in like 1996 and 99 that we had that. So do you remember that era at all? You were young, Chris.
Uh,
So what was
yeah,
going on for you?
I was like 12 or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I was like at 12. Which the thing I can remember because my knee hurts right now is that at that time I tore my meniscus, right? So it's
Ooh.
weird that that's coming up for me is my knee. I would say so. That's I really can't remember what I was because I was in school at
Sure,
that time.
sure. And that would have been close to your Jupiter return.
Yeah, right,
Right?
right.
Yeah. So
Yep.
yeah, big stuff coming in. Yeah, for me, I always like what helps me remember is what music was I listening to back then, is like, and what was I doing? I was like graduating from high school, going to college. It was like the millennial, everyone was worried about Y2K because it's
Right,
leading up
right,
to
right.
99. And it was just it was a wonky time for sure. But a lot of changes. And I think we're going to all feel that. So it's a good thing to think about, you guys, when you're trying to kind of
Hmm.
look for themes. Of course, it won't be the exact same people, places, and things, but interesting stuff coming up for us. And I think it's always powerful to reflect on those things when you're hearing the guidance coming through and all that. So, yeah, I think that's kind of the big things I wanted just to give everybody a heads up on. Was there anything else you wanted to add to this retrograde
Mm.
energy and all that?
I think that, like, I can't remember a time with this many retrogrades, like, since November. Like, I don't
Oh,
remember the last
yeah,
time this happened, right?
that's
And I
right.
was thinking about today, because, like, all the readings have been encouraging people to get started. And I was like, maybe, people say don't start things during retrogrades, but, like, maybe we are so used to the energy that it is okay to get started, like, now, even though, they're
Right.
basically ending within the next 2 weeks. So, I would encourage people to start things that they want to start. It's like you're so used to it. You've been dealing with this since November, so you might as well just get started, right?
Exactly. And anything that I think is like a hiccup or kind of gets in the way is for you to realize, oh, I don't like it that way. I don't want to do it that way. This is not working, whatever, and do it better, you know.
Right, right, yeah.
And I know, like, I always listen to all your videos on Minopond, and I was listening to your one from yesterday, because cancers, we always get the repeating cards, and
every
you,
every reading.
every reading, and then you said we also, it's always like get started, and I'm always asking myself,
Right.
like, what have I been putting off starting, or what have I been waiting to release, that kind of a thing. And it's like, we can't keep using these excuses not to just get it out there in a bigger way. So
Yeah, and someone asked, what do you think about taking a new job? And I always tell people, during these times, just realize, like, I think the thing about retrogrades is it just might be different after, which doesn't have to be
Right.
a bad thing. So it's like how you start might not be how it is after the retrograde. I think it's perfectly. I mean, if you need a job, take a job, right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
I, I
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about that stuff.
Right, exactly. And, I was sharing with you backstage right after that eclipse, a trip I'd been planning since January got
Mm,
completely canceled. And, obviously I wasn't meant to go, but it's funny because I kept getting these signs like plan to change your plans, and there's
yep.
nothing wrong with that. Actually, I think it's good for us. It's like a healthy exercise to be like, okay, well, we'll
Yeah.
just pivot. If it changes, we'll pivot. We'll make a new plan, because that's what this is all about, right? We've dealt with Pluto and Capricorn for so long, trying to get
Hmm.
rid of the old ways of doing business and get rid of the old ways of doing things to bring in this Aquarius age. So you might just have to look at it from that perspective. It's an exercise in adapting to change. So,
Very true.
which is constant. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see what we have for all 12 signs here. Let's get started with Aries, and I'll make sure
Let's
to do
do
the
it.
timestamps for everybody. What are you getting for Aries, Chris?
For Aries, you start with the Seven of Swords, the Star, and the Page of Pentacles. Seven of Swords is my card of tactics. So I think everybody, speaking of Pluto and Capricorn, Pluto and Aquarius, I think everybody needs to look for better ways of doing everything that they're doing. I said that the keyword for 2025 would be efficiency in all the 2025 readings. So, I would focus on anywhere where you're slowing down, or anything that is slowing you down in life. How is there another way to do it?
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's it with the Seven of Swords. And with the Star and the Page of Pentacles, I think that having the Star is like having a map. I look at it as like top down. You're looking at something from up above, bird's eye view. And sometimes doing that, I always say, if you're like going from New York to Los Angeles, if you're on the street, you're not going to see how to get there. But if you're
Hmm.
looking at a map, you can see how to get there. And I think Aries definitely needs to gain, like, you will be gaining new perspectives with all these planets that are about to move through your sign. And so I would take advantage of that and learn with the Page of Pentacles. That's what I'm getting for Aries.
It's really fascinating because what's supporting that for me here is the Hermit card. And,
Mm,
that's a lot about self discovery. I feel like maybe a lot of this learning that you're getting, Chris, is them going within and learning more about themselves and about the way that they approach things. Maybe, like you said, a card of different tactics. Maybe the way you've always approached things, Aries, there's a better way that doesn't cause so much friction with the people around you, friction with
mm,
your daily schedule. Because I also was getting the Eight of Fire card, which is also the Eight of Wands, right, in tarot, and it talks about that things are starting to move forward, but there's going to be so many things happening at once. So you're going to want to, make sure you're not getting caught in your head, because I have this Nine of Air card as well for you, Aries, which I know you refer to the Nine of Swords as never-ending nightmare. Isn't that right, Chris?
yeah.
Just overthinking things, recycling things, and it's like, take a break from that when all these busy energies are happening, because we are in your birthday season, which, by the way, happy
Mm,
birthday, Aries. It is something where it's like feeling like charging ahead, doing the new thing. But have you really asked yourself, like, when have I jumped into something too quickly and not acknowledged the things that were slowing me down? I could have used a more tactical approach, as you said, Chris,
mhm.
to get this done so that I don't get overwhelmed. So I really, really want to see Aries hopefully take some time for the self-discovery over the next few weeks to see, how could I approach this new trip around the sun differently where there's not so much friction. So anything else coming up for you with these cards, Chris?
Yeah, so the hermit has the star in his lantern, and I think that it's very tempting to stay in hermit mode. I always say this, that
Mm-hmm.
like hermit's not a bad card, but he is in isolation. So like whenever we go through something, sometimes we like hold back. I think that I blame our childhood, right? It's like when we're
Mm-hmm.
children, it's like sometimes we get yelled at for something, and then like later on in life we hold back. We don't like take action on things, or we don't speak up when we should, and all that other stuff. And like the star is about blasting your star out all over the place. So with the hermit, I would like open up the lantern and do
Oh,
that, Aries.
I like that. Yeah, that's great. All right, wonderful. Moving on to Taurus. What do you have for Taurus, Chris?
Taurus looks amazing. You have the Sun, the Ace of Wands, and the Three of Wands. So definitely could be like new beginning energy. I think Taurus is like wandering into new lands, kind of energy, upgrading, updating. Letting, what do they call that? I want to say killing your sacred cows. It's like I get a weird energy here of there are certain things that you believe to be true, but is it actually true? My mom's a Taurus. I'm just gonna say this as well, Taurus. Okay, my mom will say things to me like sometimes I love my mother. Don't get me wrong; she's responsible for me starting my channel, but she'll say things to me like, "Oh, that doesn't work." Like whatever I tell her, about some idea. And I'm like, I know it works because I do it, Mom. Excuse me, right? So I always tell, like, she always says things like she has these beliefs in her head, like this, what you're talking about doesn't work just because that's what she thinks, right? And I know that something will work. And so that's like what I'm talking about here. If there's like some sort of rule that you believe to be true, I feel like this is saying like, yeah, maybe that used to be true. Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new. Three of Wands is about exploring and stepping into the unknown. So I get that kind of energy here for Taurus. Kind of weird, like good cards, but it's they're kind of all mixed up in my head right now. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, maybe this will bring some clarification here because I got the World card here for the first card for Tauruses, and it talks about you. What I'm getting for this card is it's actually something you want to bring out into the world. It's something that hasn't quite happened yet. It's like you want to be on stage, center stage with something. And even if you're not like looking to, like, let's say you're retired, maybe you want to be center stage with your grandkids and like have more time with that. And like, there's something you're wanting to bring in here. But first but to support you in this, you're going to have to go through this life experience card, which is also the Tower card in tarot, right? And I definitely I'm like you, Chris. I always see this as a positive card. I don't let that energy get to me for that, but it does sometimes it comes as a little bit of a shock, the shift we have to make to get things done. So kind of like you were saying, Chris, it's like, well, that never works. It's like you've really got to switch your mindset about how something could possibly work, because then I got the 10 of Earth card, which is a really positive card too for you Tauruses. It says a very happy family life, financial security, and finding magic in the little things. And actually what I'm getting for that is really that this Tower card is going to bring changes maybe to your environment or maybe to where you're headed for this world stage. But in order for you to really enjoy the process, in order for you to really learn the things you need to learn to get to this 10 of Earth, enjoy those life little luxuries. Take that time to pause and reflect on the things that are free, that are also full of joy, and look for that magic in the things that, what is it? What's the song? The best things in life are free. I don't know. Is that a song or is that like a commercial?
Probably is. That sounds like a commercial.
I know. I'm like, that. Wait a minute. This is a commercial stuck in my head. But that's the thing I'm getting is there's some shift in the way Tauruses are looking at things. They have to stop looking at things from a material perspective in order to get to that material perspective. Like the material security you want, it's almost like you have to stop focusing on the things you don't have materially in order to get that material support. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
That makes perfect sense, yeah.
Okay. What did you get does anything else come up for you with that, Taurus? Yeah, it's
like Taurus, you have the spark. The Ace of Wands, I always say, is like a fire, but it's just a spark. You have to, keep putting wood onto that fire to get it to grow. If you don't, it's just going to go out. So I think, Taurus has to like try those things that they think aren't going to work, but could work. Maybe, and it could be advice from another person or whatever, and I would just try it and give it a little bit of energy. You don't have to like build it into some sort of roaring fire, but try it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That resonated, the advice from someone else too. That feels really good for them, just having that big shift in perspective, like we were getting with the life experience or Tower card. All right, great, thank you. All right, moving on to Geminis. What are you getting for Geminis, Chris?
Gemini, you have the Magician, the Five of Pentacles, and the Hangman. I'm going to start saying that the Hangman is Gemini because, even though it's Pisces, because you keep getting the Hangman recently with me. And, really the Hangman is Gemini's superpower because Gemini can see both sides, can see new perspectives that don't exist. I'm wondering if Gemini is completely reinventing themselves. Magician to me is always kind of reinvention. I think some people read the Magician as Gemini. I read the Magician as Aquarius, but but I've definitely heard people say something like that for the Magician. And so you could be reinventing yourselves. I think right now a lot of people could be feeling like not good enough to do something, or Five of Pentacles says do not call attention to your weaknesses. So you have to focus on your strengths, Gemini, and you have to believe that you're good enough for this new perspective that you're kind of like turning into. But yeah, it looks like reinvention to me for Gemini.
That's interesting because Uranus is moving into Gemini as well later this year. We didn't touch on that, but what you were saying about the self-worth was really resonating with me. I think Geminis are going to come online in a bigger way than they have already, and there's going to be an opportunity, it feels like, for Geminis to up their game. So I feel like that's what's coming through. It's because we have the wheel card here. So obviously the Wheel of Fortune, like you're going to have to go through this process of Uranus going through your sign, but it's going to give you all these new opportunities. You're going to be looking at things from a perspective that other people don't. And it's really going to help everybody, because I also have this King of Water card here, which is really positive here. It's, somebody who is able to open their heart to others. It's somebody who does have command over their emotions and can bring stability to that. Because, my favorite line with Geminis is you can both see that the glass of water is half full and half empty. So, you constantly pointing out that it's both. But if you can get grounded with your emotions, then you're going to really be bringing your gifts forward in a bigger way. Because I also have the Page of Earth card, which I feel like supports like up leveling their game, learning something new. So if you've been holding back on taking that online course or learning a new skill, or even if you're retired and you just want to start a new hobby, now is the time to get started on that. Because when Uranus gets into your sign this summer, I think you're going to see new opportunities coming up, and you want to have already started learning these new things. So anything else coming up for you for Geminis with that?
Yeah, and Jupiter as well, the wheel.
Oh, that's right.
I find that like I don't get Jupiter's benefits. Like I don't think I've ever in my life had Jupiter benefit me directly, like when it's in a house, right? It's always like after that I get the benefits from Jupiter. And so having Jupiter in your first Gemini, like it's doesn't want you to hold back. It wants you to expand. So
right.
Five of Pentacles is really holding back, and I just wouldn't hold back, Gemini.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think I feel the same way about the Jupiter. The expansion, you don't see the expansion till after it's through it. Curious, what house system do you usually use when you're looking up astrology?
The one that makes Aries my second house. So just
Placidus probably is the most common one.
Yeah. Placidus. Yeah.
Probably, yeah. I'm taking an online class right now that's based more in Hellenistic astrology, and so they use whole sign, and that's actually been really fascinating to compare to using like different house systems. So I was just curious when you said that about it being in your house.
Yeah, it makes it my third house or whatever if I use the whole house.
Interesting. Yeah,
yeah.
I like looking at it from different perspectives. All right, well, we'll move on now to my sign, the Cancers. Hello, Cancers. What are you getting for Cancers?
Cancer, you have the Five of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, and the World card. So again, pretty good. Five of Cups can, represent like kind of feeling like you missed out on something. Some people say it's a card of regrets. I don't really feel regrets for Cancer. I feel more just like, feeling like you're missing out on something in life. And, but what he is missing is, he doesn't even enjoy it anymore. The whole point of the card is that he's grieving the loss of something he doesn't even want. So whatever, I would just let it go, whatever it is, Cancer. You have the Nine of Pentacles in the World are amazing. It's like pre-Empress energy. Nine of Pentacles is true independence. I would say that. I feel Cancers have learned true independence over the past few years, or, have learned that, really the power is in them just in general. The World is about like claiming your place in the world, I feel, for Cancer. So that's what I would do. I would like claim your place in the world and be on top of the world, Cancer. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, I love that. Well, I pulled up the Seven of Air card. So, like you said, kind of the tactics card, and usually Seven of Swords in tarot for Cancer. And I do think it talks about plans that need revision, more going on that meets the eye, or it's the wrong time. And I think that what this is really saying is just that it's a great time to be reflecting on things from the past and getting a better understanding of your role in things that didn't go the way that you thought you wanted them to go, and how ultimately they kind of benefited you. Because I know we talked about this on the show we did with you at the beginning of March on Minnow Pontero. We talked about that time period in 2017 where we were experiencing a lot of this energy, and then even way back in 2006. And it's valuable to go back and look at that time and see how differently you looked at the world. So this goes for all signs, really. I think it's really powerful to think back about the things that were your goals over the last, well, really, I would say even since 2012 when Neptune moved into Pisces, since we're going to have it going into Aries on Sunday, how differently you look at the world. I know for me personally, I was doing small business consulting. I was using my accounting degree on a daily basis for work. And now, now I'm an intuitive and I have a YouTube channel. It's like, I think I started my first YouTube channel was in 2007. So that I could, I know, isn't that crazy? But I did it only so that I could share videos to people easily. It wasn't to have a channel. It was for the usage of getting the video to somebody. And so I need to go find that channel with it's probably still public out there somewhere. But it's funny to think about how I used YouTube when it first came out compared to now, right? And I really think that that's important because we have this Nine of Fire card here too, which always makes me think of keep going and protect what you've created. I always think of don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, which I actually kind of hate that saying. I need to come up with a better, does anybody in the comments let me know, is there another version?
I don't know if there is a better one.
Yeah, I know. It's says the same thing, but it's true. It's we get so, especially, it makes sense for Cancers with our watery emotion, letting our emotions overcome us to the point that we're not protecting everything we've cultivated, everything we've nurtured so far. Because I also have the Five of Air card, and I don't know. This is not my favorite card, I feel like, but I want your interpretation of this too after I tell you kind of what I'm getting. But it does feel like, I always review everyone's motives. It does often feel like, are you really putting yourself in someone else's shoes? Are you really clear on what they're trying to share with you? Because maybe, the communication isn't there. And like I said, with the Seven of Air, it's if you always end up in an argument with somebody when you try to approach something with them verbally, maybe it's time to actually put it in an email. And I know they usually say be careful what you put in an email, but in today's world, it's sometimes there are better ways to communicate with somebody so they can save face, they can process it, and then you can have the conversation when they've calmed down, So I don't know. What are you getting for the Five of Air there?
Yeah, I mean, Five of Swords, it's, trying to win at all cost. So, is there something, even with the Five of Cups, holding on to something from the past, is there something you're holding on to where you're just holding on to it so you can win? It reminds me of, I call it revenge fantasy, right? Where it's people, just using a breakup as an example, it's sometimes people will be done with a person, but they still in the same sentence will say, if this person messages me, I'm going to tell them that I knew what was going on. I knew all this other stuff, and I'm going to call them out and do this and that and the other thing. I'm well, it's yeah, but that's just revenge fantasy. It's you're just trying to get revenge on something that's already happened when you could just focus on something better, like the Two Cups behind you, which gets you the bridge and the castle, instead of doing that, right? So
I like that. Yeah, that's a really good point. It's how much energy are we putting into trying to change the past when we just can't change the past anyways? Yeah. Cancers, I can say this, like I said, because I'm a sun sign Cancer. We do hold on to things. We do. So it's time to release that with this eclipse. All right, moving on to the lovely, I popped up Gemini there. Sorry, guys. Leo, lovely Leos. What are you getting for the Leos?
Leo, you have the Knight of Pentacles, the Death card, and the Nine of Wands. I feel that for Leo, it's time to get started. You're the first sign today to get that. So we were talking about getting started earlier.
Yep.
And the Knight of Pentacles is like hesitation, overthinking a little bit. He's the only knight that isn't moving. Death card is like, yes, something is really dead. I always talk about like the stinking, rotting corpse in Leo's closet. It's like, how many times are you going to poke that thing with a stick, to make sure it's dead? It's like a skeleton at this point. So I think Leos have something in their life that they need to release. It's I would argue for Leo that it's like who Leo thinks they are. It's weird. I see Leo, it's like I have, there are certain signs I group together when I'm reading for whatever reason, but it's like I have Leo and Virgo, and Virgo I'm always saying is kind of like reinventing who they are. I think Leo is kind of similar to Virgo in that sense, but it's like your work. And I think Leo, it's, there might be something that you work on or that you do for work, and it's, you are thinking that it's your identity, but it's like a skill inside of it. It's like, I think for some Leos, they have to like let go of their work to step into like what they're really meant to work on. And that's probably going to require play. Nine of Wands is a card throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So I think it's a great time for Leo for like business or, just seeing how they could use their skills in life, but even for other things as well, like love or whatever. It's like, maybe you think you're like the type of person to have a certain type of relationship, but it's like, go see what else you could experience. And that's what I would encourage Leo to do.
Oh, that resonates so much because I have the Six of Air card here saying things are looking up, things are getting better, but it is about moving away from that identity. This unicorn is like in a boat leaving this crowd behind, right? Of this herd of unicorns. And it's like, it's like, yeah, I'm immersed in a herd of unicorns here, but I have to break away in order to have the identity I really want instead of identifying with everybody else. And, Leos do need to be able to feel seen, even if they're not the kind of Leo that wants to be center stage. They do that. We all need to feel seen, honestly, but there is something that you need to move away from. So that really resonates with that for me too. And then I have this renewal card here, which is the I don't remember what card this is in tarot, but it's the 20 card. But it's really about reviewing and evaluating things and moving on and moving in a new direction. So I really feel like for this card, again, it's like, I definitely feel for a lot of Leos what you did, that this has something to do with work. If you're retired, it could just be the way people view you, like, oh, my mom was a librarian for work and she's retired, but now like everybody goes to her for good ideas on books and things like that. And it's like, that's a positive thing, but what else could you do with the knowledge that you've learned there so people would come to you for maybe something else, or something that would make you feel more seen. And then I have the 4 Air card, which really resonates with what you were saying about playtime. I feel like actually for Leos to figure out what this is that they need to move away from, they need to go on vacation. It could be a staycation, or they need to take a break. They need to plan a trip. They need to get a new perspective. And I feel like, maybe check out your astrocartography, Leos, and see where you can go somewhere different, somewhere creative. I know for me, every time I go to the Jersey Shore, I've told you this, Chris, I cross. Yeah. Oh, can you hear
I don't know
noise?
why it's so funny. Sorry, they're
okay.
They're leaf blowing in my backyard right now. I apologize.
I was just wondering if it was me. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say that, Judgment, by the way, card number 20. Oh. And so which makes sense. And sorry, they're right behind me.
It's okay.
They're literally right here. But so what I would say for Leo is Judgment makes a lot of sense with the Death card as well. Both cards are rebirth, but it's like those people are standing in those coffins on Judgment. They need to the coffin is their old life. They have to step into their new life. They have to completely embrace a new reality. And right. I definitely feel a lot of Leos are doing that. I say to Leo all the time, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of Leos are especially the ones that are at retirement age or thinking they're going to retire, but they're actually not. Or
right.
I'm not saying you're not going to retire, but it's like maybe you find something to do on the side, or maybe you decide to do what you always wanted to do in your life. And that's what I feel for Leo.
And maybe you need to get out that leaf blower, Leos, because
yeah, exactly. Maybe it's
clear
time to
with
do
the
some
clutter.
work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be your vacation. If you're stuck behind the desk a lot, get out there and start a garden.
No joke.
Yeah, I love that. I always take that into consideration with my readings when there's a siren or an airplane or so.
Yeah, I know, right?
Now the leaf blower is a new sign. I love it.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Moving on. When I get my mouse to cooperate, to Virgos. What do you get for Virgos?
Virgo, you have the Six of Wands, the King of Cups, and the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, really good, Virgo. Six of Wands, card of victory, success. King of Cups, like, I'm just getting like happy emotions. He has very deep emotions. He's explored his emotions. He allows his emotions to guide him. And Three of Pentacles is like getting recognition for your work. I think Virgo has been working on their work for a long time, and like how we just talked about it with Leo, how you want your identity to be attached to your work, or some of you, it wouldn't surprise me if some Virgos over the next few years even like started building followings and things like that, on social media or whatever, because I think a lot of Virgos have things to share, but it's about overcoming that like Virgo, I this is not perfect, I can't share it type of energy, right? So Three of Pentacles could be about like getting the right people in your life who like push you to do that. These people are coming in a support position to push Virgo to share. He's done a really good job, and he's gone above and beyond. Every time a Virgo tells me something isn't perfect, it's pretty perfect. So it's time to is what I'm getting at here.
I can totally relate. I'm surrounded by Virgos. I love my Virgos, family and friends. Surrounded by them, and you guys do so much research. You pay attention to all the details, but then it's like such an enormous amount of information to share, right? And so then it comes time to do that, and it's like, okay, well, what's the most organized way to do that? And so I agree with you. I think you're going to be pulling in some people to help you bring balance to that. I have the Six of Earth card here, which is activating that giving and receiving cycle. Let somebody else do something for you that's slowing you down. If you're waiting around till your website looks great to put that first post up there, get somebody else to build your website for you. If you're don't feel like you have the time to research that dream vacation, get a travel agent. Do things, let other people help you bring balance, right? Because we've got this Earth card here. And then I also see the other people too with this Two of Fire card. So same energy, I feel like really supporting what you said, Chris, about new people coming into your life, new partnerships. So keep an eye open, Virgos, for these this fiery energy that we're all experiencing, maybe really bringing in these new people for you. So anybody new coming on the scene or a new opportunity to work with somebody you've always wanted to work with is coming in for Virgos. And then I have the Nine of Water card. So really, really positive energy here for Virgos. It says your wishes are coming true, concerns fade away, and a love of life. So really trying to embrace the moment, Virgos, is what I'm feeling, instead of thinking of the to-do list. Like you said, like I've got to do all these things before I finally enjoy life. It's like, nope, you can enjoy it right now. And there are people here to help you. Did anything else come up for you for the Virgos?
Yeah, I think that the Six of Wands is like enjoying life, not caring what other people think as well. So, again, just putting things out there and getting attention. It's like time to brag, Virgo, is what I would say.
Time to brag. I like that. Yes, Virgos. All right. Pulling up on the Libras. What did you get for Libra? What are you getting for Libras?
Sorry, Libra. I got to switch decks here. So let's see what we get for Libra. Libra, you have the Nine of Wands, the Moon, and the Hermit. So the Nine of Wands is about not giving up. Yeah, the even the Moon says don't quit before you're ahead. That is your message, Libra, for sure, with this right here. Yeah, there are these two pillars back here, and they're like a warning to the Fool. He's very close to his finish line, but he's about to quit. Like those two pillars are a distraction. He's at the end of his journey. There's a great book called The Dip by Seth Godin. He talks like right when we're at the end, we always have this like little dip before we go up when we're about to be successful. And that's kind of like what I feel here for Libra. It's like whatever you're working on or working towards, like you're right at the end. So don't get distracted by like a shiny object or, something that pulls you in a new direction. And Hermit, I think Libra needs to shine too, kind of shine their light and put things out into the world with the Hermit. I think it's been a long journey for Libra too, especially if they're looking for, like a career, a career to commit to. I think Libra has probably been able to get a job, but I just think, the thing that always comes up for me for Libra is that they haven't been able to get a job that they're qualified for. Like, so maybe you've been able to get something lower or that's like similar but different. And, I think you're very close to getting something you want.
Okay, that's supportive with the energy I'm getting too. The Eight of Earth card or Eight of Pentacles. You're right there, like you said, Chris. That's what I'm feeling like. Maybe just take one more class to up your game, or spend a little more time every day practicing something you're doing. and you're going to be rewarded for bringing this skill to the table. Because I also see the 2 of water card here coming in for you. And it says a relationship's going to grow closer, and I actually feel like maybe even some water signs in your life, Libras, are going to be helping you get across that finish line. So who in your life comes to mind when you think of somebody who's nurturing, who will support you with your goals? If you feel like you're about to give up or you feel like you're having that dip, go to this person that you trust, get some support, because you're right there. I'm feeling that for you too, even if it means like with an actual relationship, if you're looking for love. But I feel like you do, Chris, that it's for a lot of us, it's either career or if you're retired, legacy, something that you're really wanting to bring to fruition, bring out there. And then I have the 6 of Fire card, which is a fantastic card. It shows that you're gonna be rewarded, victory. You're gonna get there. You're gonna be celebrated for the work you're doing. I really love this card here, but it says public recognition or awards. So just like we were saying, just push across that finish line. Spend 5 minutes more a day watching a YouTube tutorial, whatever that is, right? To help you get there, and just make sure you have the support you need when you feel that dip, which that can come from your spiritual team too. It can come from your angels and your guides too, that go within and ask for their help. So anything else you're getting for Libras, Chris?
Yeah, like Devin said, I mean, 9 of Wands is a card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. Is a card of experimentation. So I think it would be a great time for Libras to experiment as well.
Yeah, that's true. And where this eclipse is, these readings are for all signs, just in general what comes through with this energy. But you guys are going to get hit by this eclipse, Libras, because it's happening in Aries, your opposing sign. So it's time for a big shift there for sure. All right, moving on to sorry guys, I'm trying to pull up the sign.
The picture, so we know.
Yeah, did I pull up Libra last time? I don't even know if I had it.
Yeah, you did.
I did, okay. There we go. Scorpios. What are you getting for Scorpios?
Scorpio, you have the Page of Swords, the 8 of Swords, and the Hangman. I kind of feel like there's something that you need to look at that you don't want to look at, but not like in a bad way. I just think, sometimes I think if we're trying to improve something in life, we know that there might be some answers that exist, like on YouTube or something, or a book. And I just feel that, like, the Page of Swords, he needs to be curious. 8 of Swords is stuck. Hangman, he's kind of stuck, but he also kind of has the answers because his head is glowing here, Scorpio. So I feel that it's like, there's a solution to whatever you're trying to solve, but it's like sometimes we just don't want people to tell us what to do, right?
Yeah.
And so we just don't want to hear it. And that's kind of what I feel for Scorpio, is like they just don't want to. It's like they know there's an answer that they could get, but they don't want to look at it for whatever reason. And so, yeah, we'll have to see. I think you'll overcome it, though, Scorpio.
Yeah, what's popping into my mind is I feel like that message is for me too. I've been needing to. I took my car in just to get like maintenance, and the guy said that my front headlamp was flickering, and that it's like either you need to change the bulb or it's an electrical issue, and it'll be about $350 to find out. And I was like, that didn't feel right. So I was like, no, I'm gonna go home and see if I can figure this out on my own. So I finally sit down with the manual to look at the YouTube and look up a YouTube channel, and I find a tutorial on how to do it. And of course, this guy's like, easy peasy, just do this. But what I'm afraid of, the reason I haven't replaced it yet is because I'm afraid I'm going to find out it's actually an electrical issue and I have to go back.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what was going through my mind when you said it's like, there is a solution. You might not want to hear it, but it'd be easier for you just to get there. Because I actually have really supporting energy for that with these cards. First, I have the release card, working with Archangel Azrael. It's the end of a phase of a situation. It's time to move on from something. And there's more support coming for these cards here too, but it resonates with what you were saying too. It's like, turning a blind eye to something when there's something there, right, is actually just creating this stalemate energy. Because we do have this 2 of Air card here as well, that says, pretending there's not a problem or a stalemate. It actually says stalemate energy there. And that doesn't benefit anybody to stay in stalemate energy because everything else is changing around you anyways. And then when you finally address the problem, it's like, oh, this could have been a lot easier if I hadn't waited so long to deal with it. So just draw on that inner strength. One of the things I do see with Scorpios is you do have this access to this inner strength, right? That a lot of people don't have. You can really, You can get to the heart of an issue quickly. You can see things for what they really are. And sometimes you're the one that has to actually point it out to people. That takes strength to actually say, this isn't working, or this is the issue here. So remember that you do have the strength to face these issues and get out of this stalemate energy. And I think that's really going to help you move forward. And anything that you're seeing with this energy coming up over the next couple of months that feels like it's not changing, it's probably because you're the one that has to say, this has to change, is what I'm feeling for Scorpios. Anything else coming up for you?
Yeah, I mean, that Two of Swords is like, and the thing about Two of Swords is the solution is probably going to be better than you think anyway. She's thinking this or that, but, she has that new island behind her. And, the other thing is she needs to trust her intuition. She always has a blindfold on, which is like not trusting your intuition. So, I would just trust your intuition here, Scorpio.
Yeah. I like that. I like your interpretation of that card, because until I learned how you look at it, I never thought of the fact that there's probably at least a third, fourth, or fifth option than the this or that. And that's so refreshing to know, Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the Sagittariuses. Hey, Sagittarius, what do you get for Sag?
Sag, really good. You have the Eight of Wands, the Nine of Cups, and the Six of Cups. So, as always, Sag, more childlike energy. I mean, your readings really have been encouraging you to get back to that, like Sagittarius, adventurous, happy-go-lucky, kind of go with the flow-ish energy. So, I mean, just as a whole here, I think that being in that energy would be a good idea. Eight of Wands, Nine of Cups. Actually, all three of these cards are really like focused in one direction. Eight of Wands, we can't pull in two directions. All those wands are pointing towards one thing. So like I would pick one thing and focus on it. And Nine of Cups says you have to act as if you already have it. And the Six of Cups is like non-attachment to outcome, childlike energy. It's your inner child, embracing that, playful nature. And all your readings have been saying this, Sag. So that is the energy I would embrace, like anything that you want. This doesn't have to be like one thing or the other. I would just start acting as if. I think that's the best thing for Sag.
Yeah, that resonates with what I've been getting for Sagittarius as well a lot lately. I have the Queen of Air card here. It talks about objective decision making, clearing away what doesn't serve you. And I feel like that's what you're going to have to do to bring that playful energy back. It's like you're not allowing yourself the time to play. And so, try to be objective about the things that you're trying to do for others, that you're trying to get out into the world, and what's the thing that makes you feel playful? What's the thing that makes you feel joyful? Because I also have the High Priestess card here. So like intuitively, you already know what this is. Sagittarius, you already know. But it's like hard for you to fully take action on that and really embrace that because, honestly, things are a little bit out of balance. Like we have this balance card here. It says, you need to balance your emotional needs, your physical needs, everything. But also, there is some kind of compromise that you can make here, Sagittarius, to bring in that playful energy. It's like, I don't know, I'm feeling this energy of like, I'll just do it myself because I can do it better versus asking somebody to help you with that. Or, if like you have this commitment yourself that you're always the one that's going to take your kids to school, no matter what, that's just my thing. But maybe in order to get this project done, you need to let your friends, let them do a carpool for a week or two so you can get ahead on a project. That's the kind of compromise that I'm seeing with this. Not like you're settling, not that you're totally giving up something your heart wants, but in order for you to be able to clear away this thing that doesn't serve you and reach that opportunity for playfulness and joy in the thing you want to get started on, then that's what you're going to have to do, is be willing to compromise and cooperate with others. And I do definitely also see for Sagittarius a lot that some of it is just getting started on something, and then it'll make it much easier for you to see what you want to clear away. So does anything else come up for you, Chris, for Sagittarius?
Yeah, I think Eight of Wands is about like claiming something, so Devin just said getting started, but like, we have to like claim the things that we want in life. And like a great way to do that is to just get started on whatever it is you're doing. By taking the action, you're showing that you actually want it. So, that's what I would do with that Eight of Wands. Yeah,
I like that. It makes me think of the end of Far and Away where they're doing the land run and they're claiming the land with the putting the you didn't watch, but putting the flag in the ground, planting your flag. This is mine. I like it. All right, moving on to Capricorns. What are you getting for Capricorns?
Capricorn, you have the Fool, the Five of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles, which is you. So you needing to take a risk. Sometimes I feel the Five of Swords is a risk. It's like, it's going for broke in a lot of ways, and the Fool is like taking the risk of being of looking foolish, doing something where someone could make fun of you or say that you're a fool for trying to do it. A lot of the Capricorn readings have been saying like, be careful of people who are trying to protect you. It's like not a bad thing that people try to protect us, but it's like sometimes people don't tell us not to do things that we should do.
Right.
And that's always what I feel for Capricorn, especially with this Five of Swords. Like, he's walking away from those two people, and the story of the card is that he's like winning at all costs. But like, I wonder for Capricorn if it's like you feel if you would feel like you're turning your back on people or something like that if you did make a decision to do something that you actually want to do. But I really feel it's time for Capricorn to take a risk, to do something that they want to do with the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is multiplication as well, Capricorn. It's like, getting multiples of the result you want. So it's like definitely worth the risk.
Yeah, that's interesting. It really stood out for me was the thing about too, like being afraid of people making fun of you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Capricorns are always taking the lead on things. They're the ones that people look up to. They're the organized. They know how it's done, kind of thing. And so it's like, when you're gonna go off track here, then how are people gonna view you? Well, that makes sense, because I've got the Eight of Water card here, and it talks about a desire to move on. So just like you were saying, it's like we said with Sagittarius, it's like you already know you're ready to move away from something. You already know you're not feeling emotionally fulfilled. A key thing to recognize that is, are you bored? Are you bored doing something, even if you're good at it? You know what I mean? Like, just because we're good at it. I always think about they talk about in nonprofit organizations, the big mistake a lot of people will make is like, this kind of happened to me when I was on the PTA. Because I have my accounting degree, they made me treasurer, right? Okay, because I can do it. But I actually wasn't that excited about doing it. I would have rather done something else that was more involved with the kids or something like that. And maybe my heart would have been in it longer, that kind of a thing, if I had actually done the thing I wanted to do. So even though you're really good at recognizing being recognized for stamina and for, endurance, that's just because you can do it for a long time doesn't mean you should. And I'm also getting the Emperor card here, which makes sense for Capricorn too, just because you guys are always so organized and structured and disciplined. But it, just like you said, it feels like you're breaking away from this a little bit. Like, maybe you're not always the one that's organized. Let somebody else do the organizing and provide the structure so that you can go follow what you want, because I have the Queen of Water card here. So this is really like letting your emotions take over. And this is what I was getting for your 2025 readings too, Capricorn. This keeps coming up over and over again, that no longer are you doing things how they've been done. It's more about, what does your heart say is a new way to do it? And anything that feels like the old way of doing it is actually what you want to move away from. And so that also resonates for me with what you were saying, Chris, like kind of turning your back on something. Like, just because this is the way it's always been done doesn't mean that's what your heart wants. So I think this is really encouraging you to just go ahead and take action on that right now. What are you getting? Were you getting anything else for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it with the boredom. I really think that's what it is, especially with these two eclipses too. I mean, if you're bored of doing something, you're not going to want to do it, period. So, I think that's the answer. It's like, whatever you're bored of doing, it is time for reinvention. I think earth signs are being pushed to, kind of create that, like, build and leave a legacy, even though Uranus will be leaving Taurus. It doesn't matter. I think that Uranus and Taurus kind of makes us want that security, like not something that's like fly by night or just like only lasts a short period of time. And so, yeah, I think Capricorn maybe has been doing something for a long time that they need to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So follow your heart, and it'll show you how to get out of there.
Yep.
Let somebody else do the bookkeeping.
No doubt. Definitely.
Right. What are you getting for Aquarius, Chris?
Oh, damn, Aquarius. Marriage. So you have the Four Wands, Four Pentacles, and the Two of Cups. So if you want love, looks pretty good. Four Pentacles would be about like letting go of, comfort zones, letting go of things that, Two of Cups is a different type of love. So if you don't have love right now, I would say that Four of Pentacles would be letting go of that old story of love and finding a new love story for yourself, which I think would be good. Also, this would be about setting yourself free, right? Two of Cups is you and your higher self as well. And the Four of Wands really is a card of freedom. It's like, getting to a finish line, crossing a finish line, being set free from something. Four of Pentacles, it says that, personally, I like the Four of Pentacles somewhat because like his head and his heart are in alignment here. And, they say, yeah, when your head and your heart become one, you move mountains, right? So he just needs to like take action, move forward with that. And but I feel like your soul is calling you to make a move here. And the other thing I get for Aquarius is that, it's kind of like taking the lead. It's almost like, don't be Dwight Schrute from The Office. Don't be assistant to the regional manager. You have to be the manager of whatever it is that you're doing. So there you go.
I love that. Yep. Because and it's funny you said marriage. I've been getting marriage card for Aquarians a bunch too.
Yeah.
Like over this last couple of months. That's really cool. Because I have the Justice card. So supporting what you said, like clearing away what doesn't serve you. Do what you know is right in your heart. You know what this is. You already know, Aquarians. And I mean, I feel like also with the marriage card, it could be letting go of other long-term contracts. Like maybe you're ready to move on and make a new commitment to someone else. So it doesn't have to be love. It could be just a new, some kind of other contract. But for clarification here, I'm also getting the Queen of Earth card here. So it does have something to do with material resources and wanting to, just be with the ones you love, make time for those around you. And so something has been pulling you away from this, like this marriage energy of being with the ones that you love and spending time with them and enjoying quality time. And I have this Seven of Fire card here too, which says defend your beliefs, which I feel like most Aquarians do. Like you're already good at standing up for yourself for the most part, but just be careful, like choose your battles wisely is what it says on this card here. And that's just because you do need to make this time for those around you that you love. Like you don't have to engage in every social media battle out there, right? Just to stand up for your beliefs. So I am getting like for some Aquarians, you may need to just walk away from something so that you can make sure you have this time here for the marriage or for your family or for the project that your heart really wants to invest in. So you get anything else for Aquarians, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, the Two of Cups is like talking, it is communication. So I think that communication could be really important, being clear, watching your communication, no social media blowouts, absolutely no responding to comments, right?
Yeah. Yes.
All that other stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, my headphone was getting stuck there. Definitely resonates with that. All right, we're moving on to the Pisces. What are you getting for your sign, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, pretty simple for Pisces. Pisces knows what to do, but they're not. So Pisces, you have the Queen of Wands, Five of Wands, and the Temperance card. It's like about reaching their full potential for Pisces. I think that for Pisces, it's like some things to do in your life, but you are like, well, what if it doesn't work? Like all the what ifs, Five of Wands. What if there's competition? What if there's other people doing it and all this other stuff? But a lot of Pisces energy, I would boil it down to like, I said this to someone earlier, kind of, although this is a little different, but it's about proving things to yourself. It's like, really you have nothing to prove to anyone except for yourself. Like, I think it is a good thing to prove things to yourself for the most part, as long as you're not doing it for other people. And so like, I feel like Pisces, the Queen of Wands is my card of learning as you go. And it's like realizing that you're not going to just be at the finish line. There is a process here that you're going through, especially if you're building something new, Pisces, which I think Pisces definitely could be. Five of Wands is about, it's like all those like those little moments where in your life where you have tried to do things and, people have put you down or whatever. It's like facing that again. And the Temperance card is about saying this time it can be different. It doesn't have to be the same as last time. It's a card of alchemy. You can turn the situation around. And so, yeah, maybe Pisces is dealing with things that they've dealt with before, but now is your like second chance to do it different, whatever this is.
Okay, yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I have the Knight of Fire card here, or Knight of Wands. It says a sudden event that needs attention, thinking things through carefully. So yeah, I mean, definitely it feels like, I don't know why also I'm feeling like Leo energy around this card. Like, and maybe you can explain why, but it's like, I don't know if you have a Leo in your life or you're wanting to be more like Leo. Like, yeah, you're like, yes. But it's like, there's something here where you can benefit from embracing that energy. Like it'll help you with moving forward with what that is. I do have the dreamer card here too. So it feels like kind of supporting what you were saying. It's that leap of faith. It's just trusting that it can turn out differently, like you said, Chris, than the past, but actually like you're going to go somewhere you've never been before anyways. So why assume it's going to end the way it ended last time, or have the same challenges that it did last time and not turn out, because it's, you're going where you haven't gone before. And then I have the 7 of Earth card, which I also feel like really supports what you're saying too. It's like this idea that you've planted the seeds, you're headed there. Now it's kind of just like staying in that state of this is going to work out, like watching your mindset. Like I like what you said about like, it can be positive to prove things to yourself as long as you're not doing it for someone else, and like getting really clear on like, what are the things I do that I'm trying to prove to somebody else versus me, because you've already, you've already put these intentions out there, but maybe just taking on a more like Leo approach to something, a heart-based approach, maybe more charismatic, more passionate approach towards something will help you get past whatever feels like it's slowing you down right now. So did anything else come up for you with that, Chris?
Yeah, I think it's about like Pisces needing to realize that, like, yeah, maybe you do have the right answer. It's like sometimes I think Pisces thinks like, oh, I could change the world, but with this idea. But then Pisces is like, no, I can't. I'm just a small little guppy in the ocean, right? Not that guppies don't live in the ocean, doesn't matter. But what I would say is that yeah, it's like about saying that no, maybe you are right. Like maybe your ideas are good enough. Maybe you can change the world, or change your business, or change your career, or whatever it is, or change your love life, right?
Right.
And Devin said Leo. I read Queen of Wands as Leo, so. Okay. It would be about being, more bold, getting attention. Leos love attention, all that other stuff. And so, yeah, I think that would be good for Pisces.
Yeah. Being willing to embrace the attention, I think is going to really help too with Pisces. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
That's great. And I wanted to say this up front. I kind of did about your channel, but I wish I would have said it more, more clearly. Definitely go check out chrisreck.com. I'm always so honored to share everything I learned from you, Chris, with the Dent Makers program. I'm a Dent Maker. In his program, he's got a new challenge coming up. I did his January challenge. It was really empowering. It made me realize how much I try to talk myself out of creating content because I think it's going to be too much work, or it's not going to work, when really the only way for you to know is just to do it. And you have so many exercises on there for getting started with something. So let's say you're like, I know I want to do something, I just don't know what. Go to chrisreck.com. He's got all these exercises for getting you started. Like what's the one you do where it's like, write down 100 things you think you're good at? Is that one of them? Or yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite. Write down 100 things you're good at. Even if it's like on my list, I did this years ago, and I literally wrote down sitting in a chair talking were 2 of the things that I wrote on my list. And yeah, that's what I do all day, is sit in a chair and talk. So there you go.
I love that so much. And there's so many other exercises and tools there. Plus it's a great community of people who really support each other. I love seeing the way everybody like goes and likes each other's videos or podcasts or whatever it is that they're creating. It doesn't have to be a YouTube channel, you guys. He's got tips for anything you're wanting to do. Maybe you want to start writing that book you've always thought about writing. So definitely check out chrisreck.com. He's also got his YouTube channel, Chris Reck, and of course the amazing Menopon Tarot as well. So yeah, thank you so much, Chris, for everything you teach us. Yeah, I appreciate it. Let's do a collective reading here, Chris. What are you getting for the collective?
For the collective, we have the Lovers, the Justice card, and the Magician. Some of you could be manifesting love. I do think it is a good time for love. I mean, Venus retrograde's almost over, and even with this Venus retrograde, I still think it's good for love. So if you want love, I would get out there. Justice is like really... I call like the 6 of Pentacles a tennis match of love. Like this is how you should enter in as Justice. You like hit the ball to their side, wait for them to return the favor. So you're not like rushing into anything. You're just like having that nice back and forth at the beginning and not trying to rush it. And Magician, manifesting, we are definitely in a very good time for manifesting your crazy ass dream. I mean, Neptune and Pisces, this is your year. I tell everyone, if you like, it doesn't matter what you want to accomplish. I've been begging people to do this since like 2016 that, if you have some crazy idea, you should get started now, even if it's not perfect, even if it's a small, tiny little step, because if you do it now and get started now, you probably will get close. And even if you get halfway there, it's probably better than what your life is now. So I encourage those crazy dreams and manifesting them.
Yeah, I love that. And the cards I got totally support that as well. It literally says falling in love on this card here. We have the Knight of Water, emotional, romantic, enthusiastic. That's what you want to be doing. You want to be falling in love even with your day-to-day life, like making the changes you need so that every day you're doing things you love. That may not happen overnight, but you have to start somewhere. Releasing the things that aren't working and moving towards the things you don't. So I'm feeling that for the collective in general, like you said. I mean, here in the Northern Hemisphere, we have the spring equinox last week, and, it's that rebirth of something. But even if you're in the Southern Hemisphere and you're experiencing fall, it's that falling away of things that they're done. They're dead, done, and over, like you say, Chris. Like, and I have the Knight of Earth card here, so it also supports what you're saying. It's focusing, buckling down, getting things done. You were the one that taught me that this is the only night that doesn't move on the card, and it is true. It's like sometimes we do have to be still in order to really invest the time and energy in something that we want. So I'm feeling like with these two cards together, and I'll definitely want your thought on this, but having these two night cards together, it's really just saying like you're not stopping long enough to make room for the things you love, right? And I think we're all feeling that energy. Part of it is because like things we thought we wanted aren't turning out. Some things have taken forever, right? But I have this 3 of Earth card here too. So it says recognition for being a team player. And that's the thing, is we may just have to be willing to cooperate. We may have to be willing to collaborate. I know you say this a lot, Chris, and I totally agree. There has never been a better time to collaborate. One of my favorite shows on HBO Max is Hacks. And I just found out that they have a podcast like 6 months ago. I've been like rewatching it, re-listening it. And even like the writers talk about how when they were like stand-up comedians out on their own, or they were like trying to write something on their own, like the pressure was so enormous, and yet everybody was always, it was like the old way of doing things. It's like you don't share your ideas, you don't share your talent. And one of the big, this hilarious show, if you want to check it out, with Gene Smart, I love everybody in that show, called Hacks. They talk about how like the creative process was so much more enjoyable when they were willing to share ideas and come together as a team. And they just feel like the show never would have been what it was if there wasn't that collaboration there. And you might just assume everything's collaborative. It's like, of course it's collaborative. There's a bunch of writers in the room, but I feel like that's what we're moving away from, that energy of like, that was my joke, that was my idea. And it's more like, hey, here's this idea. How can we make this better? And I think we're all feeling that. And I feel like that's something we're seeing on the worldwide stage too, of people just wanting something different from the way it's been done in the past, and not having to carry the whole burden on your shoulders by yourself. So did anything else come up for you with that, Chris?
Yeah, the whole like love thing, living in love. All my readings, like since I don't know, like 2 years ago, they like the Ace of Cups, all those cards that really represent getting into the flow, not like love a person, although that could be part of it. But, making space to do more things that you love, like hobbies. Again, the stuckest I've ever been in my life, I was just like staring at a wall for 4.5 years. I always tell a story, but like I literally didn't do anything. And it wasn't until like I started doing things that I set myself free. So, like filling up your fun bucket is super important. And, I think for manifestation purposes as well.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Because like they were saying about, it's like you got to stop long enough to realize, wait, what do I enjoy and what do I not enjoy? So I think we're all feeling that. Yeah, that's real positive note. So your homework is, everybody, spend some time figuring out what you love and then make more time for that. I think that's really great.
Love it.
Well, Chris, it's such an honor to have you on my channel every single time. I love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
The time flies by, and it's just absolutely my honor. If you didn't see the eclipse video we did over on Menopontero, definitely go check it out for this energy coming up this weekend as well. It'll add to these readings, or go review it. I think hindsight brings new information if you already did. But like I said, thank you so much, Chris, for being here. I really appreciate it. And thank you, everybody in the comments. Great seeing you all. Make sure you like and share the video, and go follow Chris on his channels as well. So thanks, Chris, for being here. All right. Well, we'll sign off now. Bye, everybody, and happy eclipse.